Yo, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to another episode. Today we are finally working on our little budget Triton build. Today is going to be one of the biggest transformation days that this thing gets. We are doing lots of brand new little parts. So I'm going to chuck the Triton in and then we're going to get stuck into today's episode. Alright guys, welcome to the first episode of the Triton build. Now, this thing is going to be our super budget friendly 4x4 that I picked up off Facebook Marketplace. This thing has immaculate paintwork. It's actually been resprayed by the previous owner. I have done a fair bit of engine work to get it to be a reliable car for me as a daily, because I do daily drive this thing at the moment. But just in case you missed it, I did make a video explaining that I want to do a budget build on this. It's definitely not going to be anything over the top. Don't get too excited. It's just going to be like wheels, tires, a little bit of lift, tidy up the tray, tidy up the headlights, bull bar, stuff like that. And we are going to be doing it on a pretty slim budget for a 4x4. Now that we've got it in the shed, we can address the elephant in the room, which is the headboard. I definitely want to do something about that today. But firstly, we are going to start on something that has been bugging me since I've owned this car, and that is the steering left and right. There's a lot of play in it, which is normally the tie rod end. So I've ordered inner and outer tie rods from Burson's. So we're going to chuck those in first. Another quick thing is I've gone out and bought a new lens. It's a wide angle, so I can capture a lot more of the shed and a lot more of the content. And it's also got a stabilizer in it, which my last lens actually didn't. So I'm hoping you guys can notice a little bit less shaky footage. Now, if you come over to our budget Triton build, what I'm thinking and working with off the comments on the first video is that we have ourselves a $2,000 budget. So $2,000 is going to be our budget, and we need to get this thing looking good and running good for $2,000, which is going to be a little bit of a challenge, but I think we can do it. So I went out to Burson's, I bought inner and outer tie rods, and they cost a total of $250. So not the bloody cheapest things on the planet, but definitely a necessity, and I really want the steering to be nice and tight. So we're going to do those first. So guys, let's start the Triton build. I'm going to jack it up, I'm going to pull the tires off, and we're going to have a look at swapping these tie rods out. Hey mate, I'm gonna have to ask you to bloody step out of the car so I can work on it, please. I don't know who you think you are, mate, but you don't even have your bloody license. Alright, as you can see, we've got the wheels off. Now this is the tie rod here. We have the outer ball joint and we have the inner ball joint, and this is your connecting piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this bar out, and then we're going to put our new tie rod ball joints in. Right, so here we have our old tie rod. Now this bush up here was actually completely mushroomed out, which is why I'm replacing this. It was the only noticeable ball joint that had wear in it. I did just go and check that these actually mate into the hole correctly. That is one thing that I was really scared about, is damaging these, getting them off, and then finding out these are actually the wrong part, which has happened to me before. So I definitely also recommend doing one side at a time, just in case you do have the wrong parts. It is an absolute pain in the ass if you pull everything apart and you damage it, then you find out you have the wrong parts, have to put it all back together. So anyway, let's change these out and chuck it back in. Righto guys, tie rods are now done. You see there, all nice and new, so we are gonna have some nice tight steering. This thing here is actually called a steering box, and on top you can adjust the tension on the gear set that's inside there. So I did go ahead and adjust that, and now you can see with the steering wheel, I've got bugger all play. You do want to leave a little bit, you don't want it to be too tight, but compared to before, you can see that that is really tight, so that's going to be really nice to drive. All right, so the next step on the old white Rhino here is to actually chuck the front wheels on that I've just bought off Marketplace. So I want to chuck them on to adjust the torsion bar so I can actually measure how high we're going to go. So let's go have a look at these wheels that I bought. Now these are 16 by 8s, I believe, and they're a neg 20 offset. The wheels that are on it are off a Hilux, and I think they're like a plus 30, so these are going to pop a lot more outside of the guards. As for tread depth, we have a little bit of tread left. There's probably not too much on there, but they'll get me by for 10 or 20,000 Ks. And like I said, I got those off Marketplace and they were $200, so I'm just going to quickly write that on the board here. Wheels, 200. God, we've already bloody spent 450 bucks, mate. So Harry's going to give me a hand. We're going to chuck the front wheels on. We're going to take a measurement from the guard to the wheel, and then we are going to adjust the torsion bars and see if we can just get another inch out of it. So anyway, let's get these on and have a look how they sit. They look way better, eh? Actually, that is perfect. I definitely don't want this thing to be illegal, so those tyres fit absolutely perfect. They're not even sticking out at all. How's that looking, Diesel? She's straight? You can see there, the wheels look 1,000 times better. We're well and truly legal at the moment too, which is good. I was gonna go neg 22s. These ones here are actually neg 20, so I think that's just about kept us legal. We probably could have got away with 22s actually, but they look really, really good. So it's now time to try and get a little bit of free lift out of this thing. What I'm gonna do is take a measurement from here to the guard and then start winding the torsion bars up. I'm gonna just rest these tires on the ground, so I don't want them actually lifted in the air. I just wanna kind of take the weight off the torsion bar and we can just start adjusting. So let's go. So as you can see here, this is our torsion bar. It runs all the way to that lower control arm, and it is basically spring steel. When you put tension on it, it pushes that lower control arm down. In return, you get a bit of a lift. We are already maxed out. You can see I've actually tried to adjust it a little bit and we're not getting any height. So it's been about an hour. I've tried to adjust the torsion bars. We have no more travel left. Now, I think what's holding it up is the shock. I'm pretty sure someone's already indexed it. I pulled the spline off and I couldn't actually physically turn it enough to put it back up. So I'm pretty sure someone's been at it, indexed it, and we need new shocks to lift it any further. I'd say it's about a 2-inch lift. I'd say someone in the back has been in as well, because it does have upgraded shocks, and I'd say that leaf pack isn't standard as well. But anyway, we are gonna have to live with it, just nose down a little bit, so it's time to chuck these rear wheels on. I do wanna chop that headboard down as well, because you can see that that is just stupid high. Thanks, mate. Righto guys, tyres are on. This one here is a little bit flat, but looks 1,000 times better on these wheels. Right, so now that they are done, the two other jobs I want to do today is drop the headboard, and I also have some new headlights to show you guys. I'm actually just going to adjust that headboard down, but Harry reckons take it off, and I'm kind of agreeing with him at the moment. If I want to put it back on, it's obviously a 2-minute job to pop it back on, but let's just see what it looks like without the headboard for now, because I actually don't use the headboard at all. When I tie stuff on, I just run a strap around. I don't actually sit it up against the headboard, so it's kind of useless to me. Yeah, let's take her off and see how she looks. May have just gone a little bit too far with the headboard and just cut the dog off. Harry and I reckon that that looks a hell of a lot better without that headboard. Do eventually want to just rattle can this black. I'm going to use either rattle can Raptor or a 2K aerosol. So that's definitely on the card. But for now, that will bloody do, won't it? Right, so it's time to do the last thing in this episode, and that is the headlights up front. Now these things are absolutely crap. They are not very bright at all, and they look like dog shit as well. So I did actually order some lights off eBay. Now they are just an LED brick light like that, and they have some daytime LEDs as well. So I want to quickly chuck these in. That shouldn't take long at all. They do come with a mini little harness, and we'll have them all hooked up ready to go. one old headlight, swapping it out for one new style headlight. I didn't even check that these fit. Another rusty one out. All original. Probably one of the most simplest mods you can do. Set of illegal headlights. Just wiring the daytime lights up. Harry, I'm just wiring up the daytime lights, mate.
The next day.
Right, it is actually the next day. Now, last night we were working on the Triton's headlights and we actually ran out of time. So this morning I come in, I just finished everything off. They're all wired up and they look really good. I also wired up the daytime LED lights on the side of them. I'll show you that in a sec. I do just want to quickly take it for a drive. I want to see how it goes on these wheels, and I also want to see how that steering has tightened up. Here we have it, the old TRITON, looking 1,000 times better. Headlights look absolutely mint. I ordered those off eBay. I'll have to check the price and I'll have to update our price list. But those lights have definitely transformed the front end a fair chunk. The wheels and tires I'm very happy with. I think they fit absolutely perfectly. Now this tray is actually about 1900 from here to the other side, and it's just a little bit too big. I believe that 1900 is for like a Commodore or a Falcon Ute or something like that, so it's just not meant to be on this Ute. So I'm going to be on the hunt for a nice cheap tray for the back of this thing, and I think it'll look 1,000 times better. But for the most part, the transformation is looking bloody perfect so far. What I really want to quickly do right now is I want to give it a wash, because we have a lot of dirty marks on the bonnet from working on it last night, and it just needs a wash in general. I want to tidy up these wheels, hit them with a bit of tyre shine, and then take it for a drive and see if we fix that steering. I'm going to bust out the pressure cleaner and give it a quick rundown, and I'll see you guys in a sec. Alright, so the Triton is all nice and clean, and they are the daytime LEDs. I think they look absolutely perfect. I actually bought those lights off eBay, not even knowing that they would fit this car. They actually suited a Toyota Hilux. So if anyone is wanting to get one for their old Triton, Toyota Hilux lights, they definitely fit. Definitely an upgrade there, and when you actually turn the headlights on, that's how they are. They're definitely going to be a lot brighter than those little candles that were on there before. Pumped with the headlights, pumped with how it's turned out, but the last thing to do is take it for a little strap, and we'll see how the steering is tightened up. See if it's too tight. You definitely can over tighten those steering boxes from what I know. So hopefully I've adjusted it just right, but I'll take her out the front, give her a little test drive and see how she goes. All right, sorry for the bad camera angle, but I'm just about to test this steering. Now, it does feel a little bit tight. Steering wheel's still way off. So the steering wheel's obviously way off, but the steering is definitely fixed. I don't know if you guys can tell, but as soon as I turn, the car is actually turning. There's no play left in it whatsoever. I'm absolutely pumped with that. Makes it feel so much bloody better, I tell ya. I don't know if you guys have ever driven a car with a sloppy steering wheel, but it's not good. Tyre rub. Might have to do some trimming. Right, so that's mint. The steering wheel feels absolutely perfect. So what I'm going to do is quickly run to the servo. I'm just going to fill up these tyres with a little bit of the Primo Air from 7-Eleven. I'm going to put 36 PSI on it just because there's not much weight in the back. There's not much weight in this car at all. All right, one done, 3 more to go. Right, got air in the tyres now. We're up to about 36 PSI on all 4. So it's time to head back home. All right guys, we are back home and we are done with the Triton for this video. I think we've made some pretty good progress. Drop a comment if you like the mods we've done so far, and also if you have any ideas, the comment section is the place to drop them because I will definitely be reading. I'm unsure about a lot of things, so if you got some good ideas, definitely pop them down there. But honestly, I think we made some pretty good progress. This thing has gone from trash to treasure pretty bloody quickly. Wheels and tires obviously make a massive difference. The headlights made a huge difference as well. Now, I am planning on getting another tray. I don't know if I spoke to you guys about that yet. Basically, I think that tray is a little bit too big and it just doesn't suit this car. Now, I wasn't saying about 1800 wide, it'll just suit the car a whole lot better, so I'm gonna be on the hunt for one of them. Now, I don't know if this is cheating, but if I can sell that tray for about 500 bucks, I'm gonna put that towards a new tray for the Triton. Let me know if you guys think that's cheating or not. I think it's perfectly fair because the Triton did come with that tray, so I'm thinking that that's the route I wanna go. As for this episode, it is now over, so I'll catch you guys on the next Triton episode. Actually, before I forget, if you want merch, head to roamlife.com. We now have new stickers, we have old stickers as well. We also have our t-shirts available, so jump on the website, check them out. As for now, see you guys later.